Strap in because this video is the brutal truth about the state of Rogue Company, and who knows, might even result in me no longer being partnered with Rogue Company, but I felt like I had to address this. 2 months ago, I made a video about Rogue Company and if it was dead or still worth it. At the time, the game felt like it was dying, but still in a closed beta phase. My criticisms of the game were met with deaf ears and some blindly stating, it's a beta. I firmly believe that the statement, it's a beta, carries no weight, as games are in alpha and beta phases for years, and public perception of a game doesn't care if your game is in early access, beta, or full release. How can you defend issues in a game when the game is fully monetized and almost all standard features of a fully released game are already in place? And what's going to be majorly different when the game is considered out of beta and into a full release state? Enough of the rant. Back then, the player base was shrinking, which was evident by getting mashed up with the same players for literally hours at a time. Analytics for Twitch viewership and YouTube search traffic were plummeting, and the game was starting to look like Realm Royale all over again. That was 2 months ago. Since then, the game went free to play, a couple new characters, weapons, abilities, and gadgets were released, Ranked was released, and with each update, more bugs and issues added to the game. In its current state, Rogue Company is no better off than when I made the prior video, except for the fact that the game went free to play and more people are playing it. Let's talk through Ranked, the bugs, crashing and server issues, daily challenges not refreshing, people's cosmetics not showing up, purchases not registering, the battle pass, favoritism of certain individuals by Hi-Rez employees, lack of touch with the community, and much more. Whew. Okay, let's get started. First, let's talk about the floodgates of bugs that continue to persist and more get added with each update. The biggest issues have emerged after the recent The Fixer update that rolled out the new character and ranked game mode. There are currently issues with logins. The game is apparently almost unplayable on the Switch with how laggy the servers are, and people keep crashing. In the past 3 days alone, at the release of this video, there have been 4 server maintenance down events, which is nothing to scoff at. After you've logged into the game, you can't even really play it reliably. Here's how the sequence of events goes right now. Number 1, you'll start queuing for a match. Number 2, the queue will reset after around 3 minutes and force you to manually search for a match again. Number 3, you'll start queuing for another match. Number 4, in the event that you do find a match, you may not actually connect to the match, which results in another awkward 30 seconds of hearing people in the lobby, but not actually connecting. Number 5, the game may then kick you from the invisible lobby, but when you try to reconnect to the match, you can't. Number 6, repeat this process until you eventually restart the game and try to join a match. This process gets very old, very fast, and is turning players to look to play other games or wait out this period of matchmaking hell. Moving on, there are bugs with characters and other facets of the game. As of right now, Dahlia's linking is broken. Sometimes you can't link to teammates, and even if you are, the revive gets bugged and you can't revive with her ability. Under certain circumstances, people have even linked with an enemy player and can see where they are on the map at all times. Another example is if you repair your armor with Headstrong, your footsteps will now sound like enemy footsteps to your teammates. And one final example is how when switching your weapons and aiming quickly, you'll have both weapon models on your primary or secondary you're currently aiming down sights with. You also can't use your abilities when they're supposed to be ready for use on occasion, and some people are having lighting issues or, are stuck floating above the map. Some other quick issues that exist, but HiRez are also aware of. Contracts aren't refreshing for some people, skins aren't showing up, people are purchasing things and aren't seeing their unlocked cosmetics show up in the game. The shooting range has been disabled for almost a week because it was causing crashing on certain platforms. The tutorial was also shut down, as was Dr. Disrespect's map, The Arena, because they were causing significant performance issues and causing crashes. Man, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but let's talk about the ranked game mode that was introduced around a week ago. AFK and levers are still an issue, as people are just trying to get the free banner for 30 games played. With better than a 25% win rate, anyone can reach Rogue, the highest tier available in the game, with enough games played, as you gain 24 points for a win and lose 6 points for a loss, regardless of your rank. For people that have a full squad and are decent to very skilled at the game, it's not much of a competition to continue marching up the ranks. The major reason for this is because solos are being matched against full squads. On top of this, players haven't played enough of ranked due to server issues, so players in the highest tiers of ranked like Diamond and Masters have been reportedly playing against players in the lower ranks like Bronze and Silver. Right now, ranked is the only legitimate thing that players feel is grindworthy, but players have already reached the maximum rank, and it's been less than a week. I personally feel like ranked was rushed to the game due to pressures from the community, and to be flat out blunt, it wasn't ready and still isn't ready. If I were on the strategy team over at HiRez, I would have first released the battle pass and then released ranked. Why? Well, the battle pass applies to literally everyone playing the game, whereas ranked only applies to those that want to play ranked or are actively playing in ranked matches. That's only a fraction of the player base. Releasing the battle pass would have given HiRez more time to figure out the issues with servers, netcode, bugs in the game, and whatever else is going on. Let's further expand on HiRez. The community and development teams used to be very active in the Rogue Company subreddit and Twitter, with commenting on posts from a variety of users, but a quick scroll through the subreddit shows very little to no interaction outside of the sticky threads. I will say that this is hopefully because they are aware of the issues and are too busy trying to fix the game instead of replying to comments on Reddit and Twitter. I have respect for game developers because they sure do take a lot of crap and have an incredibly impossible job when there are players with literally thousands of opinions and expectations that they try to manage. It's just impossible. They're doing everything they can, I'm sure, so please don't flame the developers or those actively working on the game to improve it. Put yourself in their shoes. That job sure isn't easy. It's clear that the team is hyper-focused on competitive play. While this is good for balancing in the general vision of Rogue Company being a competitive third-person shooter, it breeds some negative side effects. With most games, the more competitive the environment, the more opportunity for people to get an ego and start to become toxic. The more people start to complain about input methods and downplay other skill, whether that's on mouse and keyboard or on controller. It's not a huge issue, and it's definitely not the entire competitive scene by any means, but it's worth mentioning. The good thing about Rogue Company is that the skill gap isn't too large to dissuade casual players from playing the game, which was in part the reason why Hyperscape died. The sweaty tryhard players just punished more casual players due to the high skill ceiling. I don't see this being an issue with Rogue Company, even with focus being placed on the competitive side of the game. However, I do want to touch on the evident favoritism that is being given to the competitive scene, friends, and specific content creators. In mid-October, care packages filled with Rogue Company product were shipped out to several different content creators. This care package contained custom clothing from Gucci and All Saints, both of which are high-end expensive clothing brands. This can be seen as a thank you or further advertisement for the game to those creators that were covering Rogue Company, but the thing is, the majority of those creators no longer even cover Rogue Company. They've abandoned it. My biggest issue is the next point because I am firmly against favoritism because I believe it creates biases and stifles creativity and limits the growth of others that may be arguably more deserving. I will not mention names here to preserve anonymity, but you can figure it out for yourself pretty quick if you follow Rogue Company on Twitter. Competitive players and those that the developers play with on occasion are treated well. They are consulted with on their opinions of the meta, game mechanics, and direction for balancing. While this is good for the competitive scene, I have found almost nothing regarding public consultation with creators of the community when it comes to the casual scene, which I would argue is just as important to the game's longevity as the competitive scene. I've also personally been invited to join Rogue Company stream teams, promotion of others for money, and other deals to promote other creators, of which I have denied every single request. Why? Because I don't support these methods of growth and never have. The idea of stream teams is that you only host or raid members of the team. What this causes is a loop of viewership that only benefits those within that circle. Again, this causes those in the team to rank higher in the directory on Twitch, which pushes creators not on those teams down, leaving them with less discoverability regardless of their skill, ability, or entertainment value. Alright, enough ranting. Let's look at some of the hard data. Twitch viewership and YouTube search traffic are general indicators of people's interest in the game. I need to mention here that I am fully aware and understand that viewership and search traffic aren't the exact numbers of how many players there are actively playing the game, but this is all we have to go off of at the moment. There is no way to check the player count on Rogue Company right now through any kind of stat tracking website or through the Epic launcher that I'm aware of. First, let's talk Twitch viewership. Here's a graph of the past 90 days of Rogue Company viewership. When the game went free to play at the start of October, there was an average viewership of around 6,000 viewers on any given day, with peaks up to 12,000 to 45,000 viewers. Obviously, some days peaking more than others depending on if or if not a large streamer decided to pick up the game. In the past week, viewership has averaged around 3,000 to 3,500 viewers on any given day, peaking around 6,500 on most days. Put bluntly, Twitch viewership is down by around 40 to 50% of what it was just a month ago. Next up, we have YouTube search traffic. The best tool I've found is through Google Trends and filtering for YouTube search traffic instead of Google search traffic. The game peaked when it went free to play the first week of October and has been on a steady decline to 51% prior to ranked coming out, and now it sits at 56% of the search it had when the game went free to play. What's interesting is that this approximately 44% decline in search traffic on YouTube for the game in a month's time is very similar to the decline seen on Twitch, which leads me to believe that interest in the game and the player base may be shrinking once again as it did back in the closed beta phase. I have also begun noticing that I am playing against the same teams of players again in ranked play and casual play. Now, it's not as bad as it was back in the closed beta where I would literally play for hours against or with the same players, but I am seeing the same players every few games and it's getting disheartening again. Now, I may be partnered with Rogue Company, but I had to say something. I care about the game, the business decisions of HiRez and its developers, and most importantly, the community. Right now, there seems to be a disconnect across many aspects of and surrounding the game, and I don't know if Rogue Company is something that will be salvageable by HiRez. What are your thoughts on the current state of Rogue Company? Are you experiencing one or several of the issues mentioned in the video? Let me know down in the comments section. I'll read every comment and reply to the majority of them as best I can. If you guys want to chat more, jump into our Discord server or follow me over on Twitter. I'll drop the links to those down in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this content, consider liking the video and dropping a sub. The next video coming out will be regarding the future of Rogue Company content and the channel in general. Stay tuned for that one. If I don't catch you over in our Discord, down in the comments, or over on Twitch, then I hope to see you next time, because it'll be a pretty big update.